I'm at Vintage Junction, LA's biggest antiques market, and this place is huge.
It's over 50,000 square feet!
The collection here is an incredible mix of authentic and eclectic. It's filled with high-end antiques and quirky one-of-a-kind pieces. As an interior designer, I love shopping here for pieces with that Architectural Digest look and feel. There's a lot to see. I've already found something. Okay, this is a umbrella stand. It would have been brass originally, but the brass is all but worn off, and so now it's copper underneath. I'd use it as an outdoor ice bucket because it's already beaten up, so like keep it outdoors. This won't be watertight because it's a little rusted at the bottom, but hang on. Okay, perfect. You get like a glass vase like this, and you, oh my God, this fits perfectly. You pop it in there, fill it up with ice, bam, bottle of champagne. That is a very civilized outdoor ice bucket. Another thing you could do, that could be a vase when you have really high ceilings. Again, liner on the inside, big flowers, be kind of amazing. I like it. All right, let's move on. Woof, this place is dusty. I love a wicker basket, and I love a trash can. That's a very decent trash can. If you've been watching, which I hope you have, I talked about ice buckets, silver ice buckets in particular, as trash cans. So that was the super high-end version. This is the really down-to-earth version. Wait, this one is? Ironically, this one's $48, and some of the ice buckets we saw in London were like 25 pounds, so there goes that logic. This is more expensive than the silver one. You never know what you're gonna get when you go thrifting. All right, back to work. The crazy thing about this place is they literally have like absolutely everything. There's literally something for everybody. It's kind of like I've set myself a challenge when I come here to find 10 things that I think would work in like a really high-end interior space, even though there's a lot of sort of thrifty, kind of super vintagey things. So it's about using your imagination. You certainly have plenty to work with. Low dining tables, massively underused, massively underrated. This is the way to dine. I find a high dining room table and high chairs to be sort of intimidating. This sort of low dining setup is so much more relaxed. I think the Romans were probably onto something because they used to eat lying down, which sounds ideal to me. And I'm thinking about Harry's Bar in Venice, which is very, very famous. Their tables, they're low like this, and the chairs are low, and they're super, super comfortable. It makes you want to linger and chat and just enjoy your meal instead of being super sort of uptight. And then the wheels on these are freaking awesome. Check this out. Standard dining chair height, low dining room chair. That would be comfortable, chill, relaxed. This is not bad, but it's just, I feel a little more like I need to be present at the dinner party and have intelligent conversation. Now I don't care so much. I think it's fantastic. I love it. All right, let's keep shopping. Damn, that's good china. This is so stunning. My rule about no everyday china that's white and sad and mass-produced, this is my solution for you. This is a full set. It's made in France, Maple & Co. Absolutely freaking beautiful. Sets that include serving dishes are massively exciting. And these are so beautiful. Roast potatoes, peas, the salad in that. Even sounds good. And I think you should be using fancy china every day because it has personality, it's fun, it makes bad food look good. So if you're not eating well, at least your plates will look good. There's a great website called replacements.com. So when you find a china pattern that you like, you look at the back, at the maker's mark, you'll figure out who makes it, and then you can go on the Google, and you can Google it, and you can find replacements, and you can build sets out. You can buy a plate here, a plate there, and slowly build a full set. And also, you could keep it on display. Like, it doesn't have to be hidden in cabinets. You can actually, like, show it off. Ready. So a really fantastic thing about Vintage Junction is that they have a lot of variety when it comes to full sets of china. It's also way more cost effective than you think. This tea set is $250 and it's legitimately like exquisite. For 250 bucks, that's a great buy. This set, which is a lot of pieces and it's Limoges, is $350. For Limoges. Limoges! Oh, wait, hang on. This is fun. This is a toast rack. They're great for toast, but I like them in an entrance hall on an entry table to put my phone in. You should have a party, and when your friends come, they should be forced to put their phones in the toast rack so that they can be present and we can like stop being on the phone. I have one on my desk in my office and I use it for letters and mail and bills. You could even put a little photograph of the one that you love in there behind your audit from the tax man. Oh no way, what the hell is this? Is this another toast rack? Whoa, winner! It's a toast cart. I mean, it's so cute. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, look at, oh Jesus, that's fucking heavy. Ugh. All right, look at this, it's a sculpture, but it's bronze. I always do a little tap test. You can hear if things are well made because they sound good. It's a bit like when you watch the British Bake Off and they listen to the cake and they're like, yeah, it's done. Well, I don't know anything about that, but I do know that if you tap good things, they sound good. I would put this in my entrance hall table. Ooh, people are gonna be mad at me for throwing that, but yeah, this is what I would use this for. I think it's kind of a great thing to put your keys in. And your phone, if you don't wanna use a toast rack. I like random boxes. This one is kind of cool. What's in here? No way, check this out. This is a mahjong set and it's made of Bakelite, which was the original plastic that was invented in Yonkers in New York in 1907. It's a full mahjong set, which is almost impossible to find because these pieces, they're so pretty that people would buy these and then they would turn the little tile into jewelry. Bakelite was also very popular with Coco Chanel and Elsa Schiaparelli. They used it for their costume jewelry and also for buttons. Even though it's plastic, because it was the original plastic, it was a very innovative product at the time, and so it was kind of desirable. And it's very beautiful. Frames, lots of frames. Actually, not bad. Bar stools, windows in case you need a window. Oh, wait, hang on, this is great. Come to Papa. Tramp art. I'm a big fan of tramp art. The name, however, is a misnomer. They were not made by tramps, they were made by crafters and hobbyists. It's layers of wood that are sandwiched together, and each layer is notched out using a pocket knife. The reason that they were made was because in the Civil War, whoever was taxing stuff taxed cigars, and so cigars had to be sold in a little wooden box. And so there were these cigar boxes everywhere, and people started collecting them and then notching them and turning them into frames and boxes, grandfather clocks, furniture. I mean, it's amazing the kind of stuff that they've built, and it's totally built out of cigar boxes. But great frame. Pop a vintage mirror in this, and it's perfect for a powder room. Ceramic garden stools. I'm in love with these things. I think they're fantastic. They're so easy to use. They're massively versatile. Obviously, these are super maximalist. So Judy, who owns Vintage Junction, told me that she pulled these out of Sierra Towers, which is a very famous apartment building in Beverly Hills. And it's where a lot of really famous people have lived, including Joan Collins, Elton John, Cher. If you're into things that are kind of loud and make a statement, this is the way forward. They would be great either side of a sofa. You could use them inside, you can use them outside. If you have a huge shower, they're amazing in a shower instead of a shower bench. I think they're great. Okay, now we've hit pay dirt. These are all arts and crafts copper trays. Wow, actually, hang on, check this out. That's Stickley. So Stickley is a very, very famous American furniture company. And you can see on the back here, there's the maker's mark that proves that it's Stickley. And if I dust this off, you can see the surface is uneven. It's got this undulation. Those are intentional hammer marks. The reason that those are there is because in the arts and crafts movement, what people were trying to do was celebrate the fact that things were made by hand. The arts and crafts movement is sort of a reaction to the Industrial Revolution and the fact that everything, oh my God, look at my hands. Everything was becoming machine-made and mass-produced. So the arts and crafts movement came along to celebrate human-made things that were special and had a real sense of craft. They're all so insanely beautiful. This one is great. I mean, you could just hang that on a wall. You don't even need to use it as a tray. And I think it's quite stunning. This one is $1,000, so that's really pricey. Buy it. But wait, this one's only $285. That's the look for less. Let's keep going. We're in a whole other wing of Vintage Junction. It just never ends. All right, Tiffany candlesticks. Yeah, that Tiffany, but these are really, really old. In fact, if you turn them over at the bottom, scratched into the bronze, it says 1887. That may or may not be true, but Tiffany's been around since 1837. So these would be the second generation of Tiffany's. This is the son, who was a genius, and he's famous for Tiffany lamps, which sell for like well over $1 million at auction. The Tiffany that we think of today is jewelry, silver, gold, diamonds. But this is the kind of Tiffany that I like to look for. It's the home goods, and it's specifically home goods from the Art Nouveau period. It's not easy to find because it's massively collectible. These are a sensational find. The good stuff is behind the glass. These, which I almost don't even want to pick up because they're so good, are Meissen. Meissen was the first European porcelain. From the 7th century, the Chinese and the Japanese were the only people who knew how to make porcelain, but eventually the Europeans figured it out beginning of like the 1700s. So these are Meissen, and you can tell that they're Meissen because they have these crossed swords painted on the bottom. That is one of the first trademarks in the world. These are figurines, but the company used to make tableware, so plates, bowls, dishes, all of that sort of stuff. But when they really got super famous was when they started creating these figurines, because if you couldn't afford to buy an entire dinner service, which is like crazy, you could buy a figurine. You'd put them on a dining room table in between flowers and everything else to really dress your table up. I'm so nervous holding these. These are amazing. They're so beautifully crafted. They're all hand painted. One of her boobs is out. They were kind of lusty, actually, but that was sort of intentional. The big thing that they used to make were sort of saucy shepherdesses. She's a saucy musician, but yeah, there's a little bit of filth everywhere. Oh wait, one more thing to say about Meissen, which I think is really cool. Meissen is probably the oldest luxury brand in the world. It's still in production today, as is this, which is Sèvres, which is the French version of the German. And it's equally good quality to Meissen, but it's a little louder. It's particularly famous for all of this heavy gilding and their ground colors, which were very intense. So this very, very like sharp cyan, I guess you could call it, is very typical of Sèvres. Their stuff is still being manufactured today, but this is old, really, really good stuff. What I want to do with this is take the lid off. You could fill it up with living herbs. You could have like basil and thyme and rosemary and have that on your kitchen island if you've got a really big kitchen island. This is something that you would see at Versailles. In fact, it's manufactured just outside of Versailles and has been since the 1700s, like since 1740. This is probably not from 1740, but the company has been around since then. So yeah, it's literally the kind of stuff you would see at Versailles, minus the dust. Something I'm noticing here is there's a lot of Stickley furniture, and Stickley is kind of important. It's arts and crafts furniture that was started by Gustav Stickley in 1890 in Pennsylvania and New York. It's very, very beautiful, and these pieces are all original. It's so solid. Stickley is kind of like an American icon. It's still in existence today, but it was at its peak sort of around the turn of the century, and really was the leader in the arts and crafts movement that eventually became craftsman architecture. So you'll see it all over the States. It's just very special. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as mission style furniture, and it's all about the craftsmanship. They want you to make sure that you're seeing that it's made by hand using natural materials. So there's the maker's mark, and it says Gustav Stickley, but it also says Als ik kan, which was the company's kind of slogan, which was Flemish, and it means all I can, or essentially to the best of my ability. And the reason that that was the company's slogan was because everything they made to the best of their ability. There's something really beautiful about that. It's not just a piece of furniture that's made for profit. It's a piece of furniture that's made with intent and purpose. Instead of just like marketing something as luxury, it's actually luxury because it was meant to last not one lifetime, but to be an heirloom. And yeah, 125 years later, this is an heirloom. It's a pity it's here and not in somebody's house. If you look at what's happening now with the world, we're all terrified that AI is going to take our jobs. The arts and crafts movement was a response to the Industrial Revolution, where everything was becoming machine-made. So 125 years later, we're in the same boat. But what was interesting about this as a response to the Industrial Revolution was that craftsmanship was prized and it became very collectible and people wanted to buy this kind of stuff. So let's hope we learn a lesson from history. I love that great places like this still exist and that people are interested in buying vintage again. Quality, character, idiosyncrasy, and durability all matter. And so does history. Buying vintage protects crafts from the past for future generations. And in our very modern world, handmade will matter more as it becomes increasingly rare.